This is the all-new 2015 Chevy Tahoe, part of the General Motors family of full-size SUVs that is entirely new for 2015. Here's an interesting little statistic. In the United States, Chevrolet is far and away the best seller in the Tahoe and the Suburban line for full-size SUVs for General Motors. But in Canada, it's actually GMC. GMC with the Yukon and the Denali are the best sellers in Canada, the exact opposite of what happens in the United States. And all of these vehicles have very similar appearance with similar features and similarities when it comes to engineering. I particularly like what they've done with all of the full-size trucks. Somebody commented on the video I did of the new Escalade that it looks kind of slab-sided and very square, but I think that's what's appealing about it. Very crisp lines down the side, square at the back, really nice looking light package on this vehicle. One thing that's fantastic is the power step to get inside, and this is a big truck. It's easy for kids and even grown-ups. It takes a bit of a hike to get in, so that step is definitely welcome. Power liftgate and a backup camera, standard equipment. But the one thing that's interesting, the Tahoe is the short wheelbase version, and then of course the Suburban is the long wheelbase version. When you get the short wheelbase, when you have all three rows of seats up, the cargo area behind the tailgate really is shockingly small. So even though this is a big full-size truck, the cargo with all of the seats up is really limited. So you have to think about whether you want to get the Tahoe or the Suburban. Now, most people don't have that third row up all the time, and it's plenty of space. And of course, it has a lot of cargo space on the inside when you have all of the seats folded down. So 2015 brings about all of the updates for the full-size SUVs because last year they brought out the Silverado and the Sierra, the full-size pickup trucks on which these trucks are based. So let's go inside, and a lot of the refinement that went into the pickups is baked in to this Tahoe. Now, as I mentioned, the Tahoe and all of the other full-size GM trucks is based on the pickup trucks that came out a year ago. And they've taken a lot of the same technology that made those some of the nicest to drive in, and they've embedded it into this full-size SUV. The dashboard has soft touch materials on the top, on the side. It's even got French stitching. Now, this is the top of the line LTZ or LTZ version for you Americans. Big, comfortable bucket seats, lots of utility here. You've got two USB here in the center. You've got another two inside the huge center console, big practical cup holders, heated and ventilated seats, nice big switches and dials, easy to use. You've got the nice big screen there that you can actually push a button and up comes the screen. And you can put your phone in there yet with another USB, and then you can push the button and hide that away again. The screen isn't as big as some of the others in the marketplace. Some are 8.4 inches like the Yukon system from Chrysler, but it's still a good size. There's also a Tft screen here in the center console that gives you quick information, readout, phone calls, navigation, things like that. Very similar to the other full-size SUVs from General Motors. What you're really getting is the name, and the packaging is slightly different from model to model. Of course, the Cadillac is the pinnacle, and that has a very different center cluster with touchscreen information that takes a little bit of getting used to. I prefer this sort of tried and true system they have in this Tahoe. Now, the differences between the different trims really comes down to what's under the hood, what's available, and the different systems at play when you drive these vehicles. So we'll take this Tahoe out for a spin. Now, in the full-size pickup truck market, the Sierra and the Silverado came out in 2014, and they are so smooth and quiet that they're actually amazing that they're pickup trucks at all. You take all of that goodness and you bake it into these full-size SUVs, and you get the same level of comfort, quietness, and smoothness, and then you can add on a few extra things. For example, this LTZ or LTZ version of the Tahoe has magnetic ride control. Yeah, that's right, the same system that's used in the Corvette. It samples the road surface up to 1,000 times a second and can adjust the dampeners up to 100 times a second. So that's very advanced technology. And the engine is a 5.3 liter V8. And it produces 355 horsepower and 385 foot-pounds of torque. But what it also has is direct injection and cylinder management, meaning it can switch off half of the cylinders running only on 4 when you're cruising along. I'm cruising along right now at city speeds, 50 kilometers an hour, and I'm driving along using only 4 cylinders. That really saves a lot of fuel. As soon as you put your foot into it again, boom, the 8 cylinders all come back on, and it's so seamless you can't tell. And what that all does is bring the fuel economy down. It improves fuel economy on the highway by 10% and 7% in the city, which might not sound like a lot, but 10% of a large fuel bill is actually quite a bit of money. So do the math in your head and think about how much you would use using a full-size truck like this, and a 10% improvement really is a big difference. Now, the 5.3 liter engine is the only engine offered in this truck. If you want to get the 6.2 liter, the sort of top of range engine that's available, you have to get the Denali in the GMC line, or you have to get the Escalade from Cadillac to get that more powerful engine. But this engine does a very good job. It's so smooth and quiet and refined in here. You'd be really hard pressed when you're riding in this to not think that you're driving in a big luxury sedan. It's that smooth and quiet. Now, the Tahoe starts at just over $50,000 for a two-wheel drive version, and the prices can go up really quite nicely. You want to get the bigger engine, you need to go into the Denali line, and if you want that same engine with more opulence, then you go up to the Cadillac Escalade, which starts at around $80,000. So depending on what you want and the price range, General Motors has a full-size truck to suit your needs, whether it's the Tahoe, the Suburban, the Yukon, the Denali, or the Cadillac. They got it all covered, and these are the best-selling full-size trucks in the marketplace. They really own this market. Great towing capacity and much better fuel efficiency, smooth and quiet. The updates for 2015 throughout the entire line of full-size GM trucks is fantastic.